What's up, guys? Welcome to the 151st episode of the Grow My DJ Business podcast. My name is Cream.
Gary W. here. You almost threw
This
me off
episode
at
brought
that.
to you by Grow My DJ Business Discord, as well as Digital Music Pool.
Threw me off in the beginning. I'm not used to it yet.
What, the name change?
Yeah.
I mean, it threw me off too. All right, Gar, how are you, man? You were up here this weekend. Your first time DJing in like what, 5-6 weeks or something?
2 months.
2 months.
2 full months.
What
went
was that like?
March 17th till what was it, May 19th, May 20th, whatever Thursday was. It was a long break. I learned that my body doesn't bounce back as quick when taking that kind of time off. And then also being super healthy while I've been home for 2 months. And then going into like one meal a day, drinking a lot of
it makes you realize how
drinks.
Unhealthy we all are and how hard it is on our systems and bodies.
My system's still not recovered. I mean, I'm still like, it's not used to eating 3 meals a day and getting regular sleep. And I felt sick for 2 days. So I'm just kind of bouncing back now, which is good. It took me a long time to get rehydrated. Because you know what, being 2 months out, like you see people, and what do we do in our industry when we see people?
Yeah,
what's the first
shot?
thing? Right. That's the first thing somebody says. Wow, haven't seen you in a while. Like, let's do a shot. All right, fine. Because it's just the most like communal thing that you do in our industry. For whatever reason, that's like the handshake. Anyway, so a lot of that. But the outside of all of these, getting to see everybody, which was amazing. Getting back on the horse of DJing was easier than I expected. The one thing about our industry and about a lot of the places that we play, not a lot changes in our market, I should say, not a lot changes musically in short periods of time. Right? There are like, in a 2-month period, there might be 4 to 6 records that you have to play. Right?
It's definitely less so now than ever before, for sure.
And just like our market isn't really used to or isn't really, they don't accept change all that much in their DJ sets and what they're going to react to. And you know, what you could start the night off and what you can end the night off with can be a little different. But that the meat of the important parts of your night, you're not going to ruin it with a track. Like if you're going to sprinkle in a new track or try something new, right? Like it's not going to, I'm not recreating a whole DJ set in 2 months. It's not happening that way.
Right.
I did learn about that new Nina Sky sampled track, and now I can't think of it. And I played it in every set. Every set, and got the biggest reaction in all of my sets.
What track?
I have to look it up now. Give me one second.
What sample?
It's the Move Your Body sample. After Hours. The Kalani track. Kalani After Hours.
Why? I haven't played that once. It goes off?
Yeah. I played it. So my rooftop set, both my later night sets on Saturday and Sunday, and especially my Ashford set on Friday.
I feel like that
was my biggest record.
That sample, you can literally put anything over and it's going to go off.
It was great. Like, it was great because I forget about playing that track sometimes, and it's a great track to play, the original. And it like transitioned me into getting into if I wanted to do a reggae set or like if I wanted to do, you know, anything like that. So anyway, so getting back in, and then also having the Rangers and the Knicks playing while I was up there at home, I think both times. It was great.
It's been a great New York sports run here. I know the Knicks just lost, but
I was super happy to get to be around the atmosphere while it was happening. It was the tail end, and Game 6 of the Rangers was Thursday, and that was super exciting with Kreider's hat trick in the third, and then the Knicks unfortunately lost the next night, took the wind out of the sails a little bit on Friday night, but we wound up having a very, very good Friday night anyway. In the Ashford, all over the place. The crowd was really good. They were into it. It was nice. We had a really nice weekend. Not just weather-wise, it was just a nice weekend. Great turnout to all my gigs. Great turnout.
Yeah, we sent a message to our team after this weekend, like, hey, guys, like, this was the first weekend it's felt like good in a while, and it was nice. We had good weather. All the venues were busy. It was a good change up here before Memorial Day coming up.
My 3 offsets, which means not the peak hour sets, not the Friday night, not the Saturday night set, but my other off-peak sets, I had to play longer in all of them, which is just great for like the morale of the venue, and it just showed me that people do want to go out and stay out and have a good time. I felt like if I had left the DJ booth at the time I was supposed to leave, it would have been a disservice to not only the people there, but also the bar that I was working at, because who knows, people would have maybe left then, and maybe they wouldn't have stuck around for another drink or two. And that's the stuff that we talked about last week, where it was, hey guys, to go the extra mile to kind of stand out. If you guys didn't listen to last week's podcast, I just listened to it this morning. It was so good. A lot of really good information in there about what you should be doing in your venues weekly, because I came up and I thought about all of that stuff, and that's why I played an extra hour and a half one night, played an extra hour the other night, and then there was another set that I played like an extra 45 minutes. But it's just those little 45 minutes that venue probably made an extra $300. I could have shut the music off and walked off, but then I just paid for myself. You know what I mean? So like, yeah, it's just, and I know it's not, everybody doesn't own a DJ business. So, maybe you don't worry about the venue as much as I might. But at the end of the day, you want to get asked back to that venue to work again. And maybe if you don't go that extra mile. But like, if you care about the business and you care about, the bar staff that you're working with and the wait staff that you're working with and the management that you're working with, because like we always say, you don't know when those other people are going to go work at other venues. Maybe it's not that venue that you're particularly into, but maybe you just made that bartender an extra $100. And the next place that they go work at, they're going to be like, oh, well, Gary was a great DJ that day. He stayed a little extra longer. We made a little extra cash. We need a DJ next week. Maybe we'll hit him up. It's all that little stuff that always comes back around in this industry. It always does. Always, always, always.
Yeah, and don't just power through and keep playing, or don't just stop the music. When there's about 15 minutes left, just go grab the manager really quickly and say, hey, it's really busy. I can stay for an extra hour. Do you want me to stay? Right. Do you want me to stay an extra 30 minutes? Or do you want me to shut it off? Let them make the call. At least you have the wherewithal to go and ask that question, Yep. They'll appreciate it whether they want you to stay or not. Yep. That you're aware enough of being able to recognize, hey, maybe keeping a DJ for an extra hour might be a good idea.
Right. And you can negotiate a price. I did it. I did it, and I didn't negotiate a price or anything. I mean, I could talk about that with management after the fact, but that's a difference in the position that I'm in than most DJs, right?
Right.
So anyway, great weekend. Really great to see that the industry is alive, and it was good up there. It was really
after all of our doom and gloom.
I know. That's the one thing. Like last week, I was like, oh gosh, we were so doom and gloom, and then I get up there and it was pretty lively.
It's been bad for a long time. That's why there was a lot of doom and gloom.
Yeah. Well, then I spoke to people, and they were like, well, the weather has been terrible the last 6 weeks. They're like, it's been so rainy and so gloomy and so overcast, and people are cold at times, and people don't want to go out. I'm like, I don't even know. I'm so disconnected with like just what the weather is like and all of that stuff.
Yeah.
But great stuff.
Yeah, you came up on a good week. I'm glad. It was good for you, good for our venues, good for our business. So good trip all around.
Yeah, definitely.
So I want to get into sort of our first topic here. We talk a lot about like DJs leveling up and how to go from the bedroom to gigs and from one gig level to the next gig level. And I think we haven't really talked about when is the right time to do this, right? When's the right time to make a push for that level up? Because I think there is a right time and there's a wrong time, right? So what are some of the things that if you're a DJ out there and even for us, right? Any DJ that's looking to grow and start playing better rooms for more money, when do you make that push? How do you make that push?
I think the number one thing is understanding your skill level. Understand what you do well, right? What kind of DJ you are, what you do well, and then how am I comparing to somebody that's kind of on the same wavelength as I am in their career? So they don't have to be playing the same venues, but they're playing equal venues in your market. Well, are you a bigger name than them? Are you more active on social media than them? Are you putting out more records and mashups than them? How does my overall social media presence stack up against that person? We could touch on each and every one of these things, and we will. But I think understanding the barometer of where you stand to people that are your peers, that are equal to you, if you're doing everything better than those equals are doing, well, it's time to ask for more. It's time to go for that next level and that next place. Now, like, I'm going to give myself for example. So, like, if I came up there and I'm like, I had a great weekend this weekend. I had 1,000 people at the Ashford on Friday. I had X amount of people, and I'm doing a great job. It's like, I think I should go play Marquee next week. It's like, yeah, no, that's not how it works. I don't do any. My social media presence sucks. My marketability sucks. Like, I don't put out mixes. Like, why would I deserve to go play at that next level up place? You know what I mean? Well, if I'm not A+ at all of those things, well, I don't deserve to step out of where I'm at currently. And that's me personally, just knowing you have to self-assess and know exactly where you stand within all of these important parts of being a professional DJ.
Yeah, I mean, you said a lot there, so I don't know where to pick up, but I think I would say the first point of where you can start thinking about, all right, I can start making a push to the next level would be, are bigger and better venues knocking on your door to book you, right? Like, if you're playing the mid-level spots and some of the high-level spots in your market are saying, yo, Gary or Kareem, we want to book you, and you start booking that next level, use that as an opportunity to now reposition yourself, right?
How about before that, really quick? Let's go back to that. But I think really quick, are the venues that you're playing at right now, do they need you in their venue? Because there are people that want to level up, that I've spoken to, that they want to start to make that next step. But the places that they're playing at, they're not banging down the door for that DJ, right? Like,
Right.
You have to be wanted and needed to a point where the place wants to give you more money than their regular DJs.
Right.
Hey, what is it going to cost for me to have Kareem in X venue next week? Because I don't care what it's going to cost. I need him here because because when he's here, we make more money. So I'm willing to give more money. If somebody's not willing to give you more money off Jump Street that you regularly play at, then you're just kind of like every other DJ in the place then.
Right.
That's kind of like a good starting point. Not the money portion of it, but like, are you needed?
Part of it is creating a local fan base, right? Do you have people that are coming to your venues or to your gigs? Are they bouncing around the city that you're playing in, coming to where you are? Are they buying tables? Does the staff know that when you're there, you bring people out? That's like step one, right? Then, of course, you're a good DJ. You play the right music. You know how to work the crowd. You make more money, like you said, on the given nights that you're playing there. Like, that's how you start to create that buzz. And that one venue is going to say, well, we need Kareem here more because people are calling and asking who's DJing. And when they say Kareem, they say, we're coming. That used to happen. Like, who's your DJ? It's Kareem.
Still happens.
Oh, all right, we're going to book a table tonight then.
It happened with one of our DJs recently that a place called and people have called that place and requested them. So,
yeah. So that's the kind of feedback and what needs to be happening during your gigs in your market in order for you to start taking this step. When that stuff starts happening, right, the venues you're currently playing in really want to keep you. But as I was saying, the higher level venues or the better venues are going to start knocking on your door, right? Someone is going to take a chance on you, or someone's going to recognize you as someone who's making noise in the market, and they're going to want to book you. Maybe they're going to want to book you as a headliner. Maybe they're going to want to book you as an opener and closer in a higher level venue, or maybe support for a big artist. And at that point, you promote the shit out of it, and now other venues know you've taken a step up. You started playing this next better venue that other higher end DJs are playing. And then now it's on your resume, right? Now it's like, well, I play this venue now, and my rate is now this. So that sort of sets almost the new standard of where you could negotiate from. Or where you could actively go out and say, well, I'm now starting to DJ, or I'm now a resident at this high level place. I want to play at your place, which is on that same level, and that's how you break out of a particular level of market or level of venue that you're currently playing. it's a momentum thing, right? And once the ball starts rolling, you have to take advantage, right? Maybe you have people coming out, you're getting good feedback, you're making music and putting mixes out, you're active on social, and then the big venue calls, right? And now it's like, hey, what other venues can I reach out to and try to capitalize on this momentum that I have?
It takes a lot. It takes a lot of patience, you know? It takes a lot of patience to get to that point.
You have to, all of this is based on the work that you're putting in, you know? Like if you're just going to DJ your DJ gigs and that's it, you're never going to grow.
Right.
Like the amount of work that I used to put in and still put in just in a different way, but the amount of work that I watched Angelo the Kid put in for 5 years or 4 years or however long it was until he started booking headliner gigs. Like you guys, people don't see how much it takes. It takes making music every day, networking every day, focusing on all the stuff that's important to growing your business. And if you're not doing it every day, don't expect to grow.
Yeah.
Don't expect to get booked in the better venue.
Yeah, it's the DJing portion of it is actually the hardest part. It is growing within the DJ community is probably the hardest part. And then once you start getting a little recognition and then you really have to make sure you're doing all of that other stuff. The outside of the DJ booth stuff.
Right.
The production,
you have to be a good DJ no matter what. That's the only way you're going to get booked and continue to get booked. And you can improve your skills.
Right. But that's only the starting point. You know, because if you can be the best DJ but not do anything else, you're never going to grow.
Well, I think we're seeing it the opposite way where people are focused so much more on the other stuff where sometimes that supersedes the actual skills and then they get booked and it's like, oh, well, this DJ has all this other stuff, but they're not very good as a DJ.
I think when we're talking about bigger acts, that just skipping the line kind of a thing,
right?
Just like getting thrown into $15,000 gigs. That's different. There's a popularity. There's a 15 minutes of fame that's coming along with a lot of that stuff. A lot of that is tagged with having that 15 minutes of fame, having that viral, whatever it is.
I think that's also part of the reason why our industry isn't in the best shape, because instead of booking DJs based on talent and skills, but all that also have that other stuff that's important and are marketable, people are mostly caring about, does this person have a social media following? Like, think about how many of those DJs are being booked. And some of them I'm sure are great. Some of them I'm sure aren't, you know?
Yeah, there's a lot of DJs not getting booked because their social media following is lackluster. Yeah, we've seen it time and again. Oh, that person only has X amount of followers. I don't know if we want to book him, right? But we don't agree with it. You and I don't fully agree with it all the time. But the decision makers are making decisions based upon these facts.
Right.
And one thing has to do with the other, right? It's not all on the high end. This is happening on the low end too, unfortunately. But it's all the more reason why people should be getting their face out there and their name out there as much as they can, because the more you attach your face to a bigger venue, well, when somebody goes and looks at your social media, you had 2,000 followers, but you've played the top 5 places in your market, well, you're going to get booked, right? So you have to work on all of that stuff. It's an all-encompassing thing.
Right. We've said it many million times, right? Like there's so much more that goes into being successful right now. And there's so much more that we have to focus on as just not just being DJs, right? We can go down that path every podcast, right? Like we can talk about that stuff every time. So I want to circle it back and talk a little bit more about some of the other things that you can use as, all right, it might be time for me to like really make this push to go level up. Turning down gigs, right? If you're so booked out that you have to turn down gigs, number one, you should start raising your rates. Number two, you have to start assessing, are there certain places that I'm playing that I don't need to be playing anymore? Maybe it's a lower level spot that pays less money. Like if you're turning down gigs, you're in demand. You're definitely in demand.
Yeah.
And I think that's another sign of maybe it's time for me to raise my rates. Maybe it's time for me to start making this push into a higher tier of venue. And guys, like, you don't need to have 1 million followers. You don't need to have this post every day. You just have to have some sort of a brand, right? Whether it's colors, whether it's the way you present yourself. Like, it just has to look nice and neat and like
Professional.
Professional. You just have to be professional.
There's so many ways to do it for free even these days, where years ago it cost money to look professional because you had to pay a professional.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a good investment still. If you can't afford it every week, it's a good investment once a month, right?
Get a photographer and go shoot pictures once a quarter. That's all you need. Because you're going to get enough pictures that you can use for all your promo, for anything you want to do on social, to make your pages look nice. Like, it doesn't take a lot. That's like $300, let's say. $250. I don't know what it costs. Whatever it costs to get a photographer. If you have photographer friends, it's probably less than that.
So yeah, those. I know we could talk about the marketing and branding side of this and the social media side, which we harp on constantly, but I think it's knowing where you're at, I think, professionally in the DJ booth first and foremost. We harp on all of the other stuff in so many episodes. You can go back and listen to all of that stuff over and over again. It's just the self-assessment is overlooked, I feel. And we all want to get to that best place. We all want to get to that marquee or Tao group or whatever it might be, but it's understanding where we sit and where we are in our market.
I have a couple things that you guys can do out there. If you're not sure where you sit in the market, or you're unsure if it's time for you to start making moves to try to level up, go ask another DJ, a mentor, an older DJ, maybe somebody that is at the top end of the market, and say, hey, I need some honest feedback. Like, where do you see me in the market? What do you think I need to do to get to the next level? And if it's somebody that you trust, they're not gonna beat you up. They're gonna give you honest feedback, and you could use that feedback to help you fix some of the things that maybe you need to fix. You could also go ask a manager if you're an opener at a higher end place, let's say, and you want to be a headliner there. Ask a manager, what do I need to do to go from being the opener to being the headliner? They'll give you honest feedback. They'll say, well, you need to sell more tables. You need more of a following. You need to be able to transition from hip hop to house better. Like, whatever the feedback is. And at least you now have a clear understanding of what you can go work on to get better and to present yourself as a higher end DJ.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to ask, guys. Like, as long as it's somebody that you have a decent relationship with, they'll give you good feedback that you can use.
Yeah, I think I like that opener. If you're an opener, ask management or ask ownership, like, what do I have to do to be the headliner? That's
Sometimes
huge.
they'll give you a headliner gig just for asking, guys.
Right.
Like, oh, well, we have a Memorial Day weekend coming up. It's a little slower. Right. We're only going to book one DJ. Why don't you play the full night that night? Like, right. Stuff like that happens.
Yeah. Yeah. I like this portion of it. I think we don't talk about this portion enough. Right. And because we stay out of the DJ booth a lot on this podcast, right?
Yeah.
We talk about all the other intangibles, and the DJ booth is still important at the end of the day. Being able to work a room is still important. Being able to wow the management and the bar staff that's in there, seeing other DJs night after night, week after week. Like, if you're not wowing the people that are there, like, what makes you think you're going to do a great job in the next level up?
Right. One of these podcasts, we said, like, DJ skills aren't important anymore. And to an extent, right? We're sort of playing on words a little bit there. But it is important in the fact that your DJ skills have to it has to live up to it has to match your marketing, right? It has to get you have to, like, I don't know how to say this. I'm sputtering here. Your skills have to back everything else that you're doing. Your marketing stuff can get you in the door, but your DJ skills are what's going to, like, punch you through the door.
Right. I think that's true. I think DJ skills are at an all-time low. Is true at that $10,000 booking level, that $5,000 booking level. I think somebody that is ground up trying to make it, like, your DJ skills are getting you off the ground, and then understanding when is the right time to ask is when you're wowing all the right people. Right?
Yeah.
I think we talk about very mid to high level here and don't often get to that very low level, like that guy that's playing the local bar. Well, how does he get to the local lounge? And then how does he get into the local bigger nightclub or opening for the bigger nightclub? And this is how you do it. You do it with your DJ skills, with
Total
wowing
package,
people,
man. You got to be
know,
the
and
total package nowadays, and it
right,
sucks, but it's just what it is. If you want to be one of the better DJs, you got to be good at a little bit of everything.
right.
That's it. And if you don't like it, don't be a DJ.
Plenty of jobs out there.
Yeah, I mean, like,
Plenty of jobs out there.
this is what it is right now. So you either step up or you step out. All right, so let's jump in topic. So I'm going to preface this entire conversation by, we are obviously really closely linked with Digital Music Pool. As you know, our record pool, we anything that they do, we're a part of. Anything that we do, they are a part of. I'm an exclusive editor on their pool. We have an incredible lineup of exclusive remixers on DMP. I'm super proud of who I get to share that title with. You know, the Angelo of the Kids, the Armin of Verus, Castra. There's like 12 of us or 15 of us at this point. I'm not going to list all of them.
A growing army.
Jump in. I think DMP has done a really great job in recognizing, you know, having really strong exclusive artists, and a lot of them is great for the pool, you know?
Yeah.
So what I really want to talk about is sort of the state of record pools and what is happening right now at BPM Supreme, because they've sort of made a little bit of a wave here in the market by scooping up a bunch of the really high-end editors and mashup artists that were on other pools. So BPM Supreme picked up Revis and Beatbreaker and Alex Dynamics, who were all exclusive on other pools, right? And I just think it's a really interesting, from a business standpoint, it's a really interesting like marketing tactic and a way to attract customers, where they said, we're going to spend a bunch of money to sign these artists. We're going to pay them more money than they're getting anywhere else. And we're going to hopefully attract a lot more DJs to come and subscribe to our pool, because we have some of the best talent, right? It's very similar to like what a Nike would do. Let's bring on the best athletes, right? We want to bring Tiger Woods, and we want to bring Jordan and Derek Jeter, and we want people to bring more customers to buy Nike products because they want to associate themselves or wear products that these really high-end athletes wear. I think it's a similar strategy, right?
Statement.
Our Discord's been talking about it for 2 weeks, right? 3 weeks.
It's a statement, and they want to attract as many people as they can by making this statement. And everybody knows that those editors put out great edits, and they live in everybody's Seratos.
Yeah, they're some of the best. Some of the best guys out.
They live in everybody. You know what, too? Big shout out to those three, because they've all been on the pod.
Wow.
Just realized. Because I've told them all the same things. You guys all live and have lived in my Serato crates forever. I said it to each and every one of those three. And when they're going after those three guys, and they've gone after three guys that have different styles, which I think that sometimes there's a good and a bad to that, right? There's a lot of record pools that I'll go to for certain things that do really well at one specific thing, in my eyes. Now, this is different for everybody, because, you know, music is so subjective, and everybody DJs differently, and everybody's styles are different. But in my eyes, like, I go to one place for one genre, I go to another place for another genre. And I think by bringing those three on, they brought in three different editors that do really well in three different styles.
Yeah.
And
I
I
mean,
think
they brought
that's
more than those three on. I think they got Anthem Kings from DJ City. Like, they got a bunch of, they went and sort of cherry picked off of the other pools. So not only are they creating this really strong roster on their own site, they're hurting the other rosters of pools and hurting their, you know, the customers that go there.
I think what we saw a couple months ago and a conversation that was had a few months ago is our record pool's getting stale, right? I think there's a oversaturation of editors, period. There's a ton of people that are just doing edits, right? And I think with the oversaturation of editors and people standing out in the marketplace, it then leads to that question: are record pools getting stale? Are they becoming oversaturated? Is the quality going down? right? And so now they come in and they're like, well, we're gonna cherry pick all the best, and we're gonna keep our quality super high, right? And whether that's true or not, whether Beat Breaker or Revis is putting out a banger every single time, the perception of them having the highest quality edits is what they're doing here. They're putting out the perception that they have the highest quality editors. You know what I mean? Whether that's true or not, like I said.
Yeah. I just feel like nowadays, like you said, everything is watered down. And personally, I'm going to the various pools that I'm subscribed to for the exclusive artists. Like, that's why I go to the pools. Because I can go to Beatport, I can go to 1001 Tracklist, and I can find out the new songs that are coming out, the originals that I need for my sets. But I want certain artists. There's certain artists that I fill my DJ sets with because they fit my style, or I just think they make great edits. So I go to each of the pools that I'm subscribed to for those editors.
Yeah.
And if you're collecting all the good editors that people go to other sites for in one place, why would you not go get a subscription there? You know what I mean?
Did they do, I should have done a little research on this before. Did they move their pricing as they were doing this?
Probably. I'm sure they increased their pricing. Why would they not?
Well, I mean, just wondering if that was like part of the move there.
Like, I currently don't have a BPM Supreme subscription, but I'd go check it out just to see what's on there. I got fucking 6 pools. What's another one? Like, what's it? So
yeah,
I just think it's interesting. I think another factor is that a lot of the editors are just going and doing their own thing. They're going on Patreon and saying, hey, I'm going to do all my own stuff. Why should I go through a record pool when I can get subscribers to come directly to me, And I subscribe to a bunch of DJs on Patreon too, because I think they're dope. So it's just not that it's like completely changing. We're going to have record pools, right? I just think this is a little wave in the pool that we haven't seen in a long time.
It's been a long time coming. We've had record pools since before the internet, guys. So like, I put something out in our Discord actually about this, and just gave like a little rundown on like the history of record pools. They've been around forever, and they used to be you get 3 or 4 or 5 records sent to your house, like actual vinyl records, and that was big. I remember Funkmaster Flex had his, which was a big deal, and then it evolved into this. With Crooklyn Clan
franchise, right? That was his franchise record pool.
I forgot what it was called, honestly. And then Crooklyn Clan kind of made a big splash as Serato got big, and then the EDM wave came, and mashups weren't a huge thing during that wave, but Beat Breaker was doing a great job doing his thing and still stayed prominent. And then it's been like 10 years, 12 years, and it's time for something to shake up, right?
Well, this was the
time.
Crooklyn Clan strategy, right? Like, let's go get all the best guys.
Right. But then as anything popularizes and grows, there's going to spawn other pools out of that, right? Crooklyn Clan was the biggest, and then there's other pools that come out of it, and then they offer their biggest guy, Beat Breaker. I forget who it was. He said it on the show with us. I forgot who he went to.
Oh, who was the number one on Crooklyn forever?
No, Beat Breaker was the number one on Crooklyn, and then somebody came and picked him from Crooklyn and gave him more money to leave there.
Yeah.
And that was kind of a shakeup at the time. And then, so it feels like, as soon as we posed the question months ago, are record pools stale? It was like, it was time. I think a lot of people felt that it was time for something to shake it up.
Yeah. I think also the back end, like the business side, right? Nobody talks about anyone's deals or the money or any of that. Like some pools, they don't pay anyone anything. Some pools will pay you to put out X amount of edits per week. Some pools will pay you per week. Some pools will say, hey, we're going to give you this flat rate and I need you to do this many edits for the month. So there's a number of ways to do it. But I think this is probably a good thing for editors, the high-end editors right now,
Definitely. It's like the Live Golf thing. Like, hey, we're gonna come buy you out, and then depending on your performance, we'll pay you.
My challenge for record pools, and anybody listening that like runs a record pool or is choosing the edits that go on the record pool, I just think we need to all be a lot more selective, right? I don't need 30 edits to come out in a day. Give me 12 like really good ones, you know?
Yeah.
Like let's put the best stuff out, not the most stuff. Quality over quantity for me is way more important. Number one, it's less time I have to spend sorting through edits because you're putting the best out there. And I don't know. I just find that especially lately, like it's just been not that interesting to me as far as what's been out there. And I'm trying to do better with my edits and be more consistent and put out higher quality edits too, just to like help the cause kind of thing.
It's tough because people have their formulas and they slap their music together quickly. And, you know, I think it's okay for editors to, you know, have your formula and slap a couple things together and put it out when you want to just like, you know, do something for your set. But like, I don't know, I wouldn't mind hearing some edits that I'm like, wow, like that was like more intricate. There's more like fills in it. There's more complexity. There's more depth. And I know that's not what an edit is for. That's what making an original is for.
Well, Ferrari's going to yell at us because he's been yelling at everybody that it's a mashup, not an edit. So,
oh God, okay.
I mean, I call mine edits too, so he'll yell at me too.
He's gonna go on his Discord tonight, but just kill us. And but so yeah, I want to see a little more depth in mashups. I really do, because you can hear it. You can hear when something's lazy, and you can hear when there was some time put into it, and it took more than 30 minutes.
Yeah.
And just like, you don't have to slap 5 tracks together. That's not what I'm talking about. That used to be a thing, you know. But like, really take 2 tracks and pick them apart, and you know, and throw a couple of fills and sounds and whatnot into it, and make it sound a little more complete.
Yeah, I think it's just getting a little creative, right? I mean, there's been plenty of edits where I've just taken a vocal and put it over an instrumental and it sounds good and I play it and it works. There's also been plenty of edits that I've like fully produced out a track and I'm like, this might as well be a remix. Like I should just create a new drop and just make it a remix instead of putting it out as a mashup, because I put in 4 hours on this thing.
Right.
So it varies. I mean, some of my best edits I ever made were very simple, and then some of them were not. So you never really know. If a good is good, whether it's super intricate or not.
Yeah, but I think picking some of the stuff, you know, you're right. It needs to be a little more selective.
But just having more of a mind state of, like, I want to make this cool and interesting and different, and it's not just another Black Eyed Peas vocal over an instrumental kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that it's sort of a state of where we are in nightlife, right? It's like the same vocals and the same.
Well, what did I just say? I could take 2 months off and come back and be completely comfortable.
Right.
It's just what people want to hear. What people want to hear.
I challenge the editors, instead of creating edits of what you think people are going to like, what do you like? Make something that you like. And if you're making something that you like, you're going to spend more time on it. You're going to be more proud of it. You're probably going to play it more often in your own sets. And if you're making edits and not playing your own stuff, like, what's the point? I yell at I'm like, fuck, that was a great edit. I played it once, ever. Like, what are we doing here?
Yeah.
Make stuff for your sets. Like, what track do you love that doesn't have an edit that fits into your sets, and make that edit? What vocal do you love that's 100 BPM hip-hop record that you could turn into 128 or whatever? You could turn into a speed house record, or you can turn into a trap song, or whatever you like. Make stuff you like, and the finished product will be better. Not what does the shitty customer on the dance floor like. Fuck them. They suck.
That's why I'll never make music, because I'll never play it, ever. Anywhere.
What do you mean? We used to make stuff all the time. We would play a lot of our own stuff. No? You played a bunch of our stuff.
Yeah. Well, yes. When we were coming up and, you know, trying to make records and play bigger rooms, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right? Like, going back to our last conversation, like when I was like actually trying to DJ and actually try to become a bigger DJ, yeah, that was important. You know, that stuff was very important. And we made great, great, great edits. Those edits were very complex, and that's why I said that a couple minutes ago.
Yeah, they were.
And because those were not lazy slapped together edits. Those were, you know, making builds and making drops and doing all types of mashups, Ferrari, we know. And really building out a track. And that's why I think when I hear some stuff now, it's like, meh, it's lazily slapped together.
Yeah. The other thing I'm going to say is, and I wish there was somebody in my ear, like yelling at me as a younger producer, like edits are just a step. Don't get stuck just making edits and mashups because at the end of the day, like some people can make money off of them and some people can get booked from them, but it's very unlikely. So make edits. I think it's a great starting point. It's a great way to learn Ableton. It's a great way to get your name out there, but progress into making remixes, progress into making your own music. And it's going to suck at first, and that's okay. But if you want to be a producer and you want to be a DJ playing nightclubs and big stages, it's the only way. It's the only way. Beatbreaker, he's making music now too, but he built a name for himself and created an incredible artist profile without really producing original music. That's not going to happen very often. Very, very, very rarely. So work on remixes, work on original music, push yourself. Realize that that's the stuff that's going to move the needle. You need to be able to put songs on Spotify, not on record pools.
Yeah.
Think about it that way. You need to be able to put music on Spotify, not on record pools. Yeah, the record pools matter. You want them to post your original stuff too. But you want to say, go to my Spotify profile, not go to my SoundCloud profile.
Right. I don't know why I'm thinking of this is kind of random thought. I'm thinking of Avo, and like they had to start with doing like country mashups, right? And then they evolved into doing country remixes, and then they kind of cornered the market of doing that and blew up. Like that's a great path, right? Like it's like figure out what your sound is in your mashup, graduate that into doing remixes, and then you can build originals out of that, right? And if you corner the market like as they did with country music, it's well now you can pitch to record labels real legit remixes.
Yeah.
And get a couple things signed, and you can grow quickly that way.
We talked about momentum in your DJ career. The same momentum applies to your production, right? Create the edits to get your name out there, build some momentum, get your stuff on the pools, get some DJs knowing your name, even if they don't know who you are, and then graduate to remixes. And if they know your edits and mashups, they'll be more likely to play and download your remixes. And if they're playing and downloading your remixes, they'll be more likely to play and download your original music and progress people through your production in that way. Your skills are going to grow in that way anyway, right? The original music is the hardest thing to do of those three things. So in progressing in that way, your skills are going to get better and you're going to be able to make those original songs.
Yeah, definitely.
Love it. I mean, I'm passionate about this stuff, man. This is what I love about being a DJ and an artist, right? Like the music side of it and the record pools and putting music out, like that excites me. And leveling up, like all these conversations get me fired up and excite me. All right, so I want to talk a little bit. I was eating sushi a couple weeks ago by myself before a gig, and somebody that I knew from the city came by and was like, "Yo, Kareem, what's up?" And we were just like bullshitting, and they were like, "Man, remember your Tally Ho Thursday party? That was like the best party that I can remember. I used to come every week. It was so much fun. Like, there are no parties like that." That was like a magic party for me, right? I created this thing where I was playing the music that I wanted to play, and I created fans from that party that would come see me other places. And it transformed. It was like this shitty Thursday night that turned into this like line around the block at 10 o'clock thing. And in the moment, I didn't realize how like special that was. And that might be like a once or twice in your career type of thing that you create. Like, did you ever have a magic moment or a magic party like that, or something that you were a part of that was like, damn, in the moment, I didn't realize how great this was?
I think this was a short stint for all of us. Rick Wonder included was in this. I don't know if you remember that. And we had a stint at Troy in the meatpacking district, and they had a sister venue that they shared a kitchen with. It was owned by the same people. Rick would play one side one night, I would play the other side. You would play one side, I would play the other side, whatever it was. I think this went on for 6 months to a year-ish. It was a pretty short stint. That Friday night and Saturday night those were some special nights in those places because it was, first of all, it was in a basement. I just love a basement venue. Everybody's on top of each other. It's close. The DJ booth is essentially in the crowd.
Right. There's no stage or anything. You're in
no
the
stage.
crowd.
You're in the crowd. It's all level. And same, the place next door with the turntables had a little step up, so you were kind of above it. It was more of a bottle service. They were both bottle service venues, but like because of the setup of the room, the crowd was on top of you, and they hung on every last note that you were playing, and it was just an incredible, like I said, sweaty. It was an experience. The whole thing. It smelled some nights, and it was just like, obviously the booze is flowing, the music's good. You're playing on vinyl some nights you're not, depending on how you felt.
Yeah.
And there was a rotation of great DJs in those places that are still DJing now. And I guess some of that comes with, I grew up, I made my chops in basements, whether it be a frat house basement, whether it be my basement where I threw my parties when I was in high school. So I have a special place in my heart for that type of setup of having the DJ booth in the crowd. This is pre boiler room, guys. This is way before that was cool. I think those are some really fun and special moments in the Meatpacking District, at a point that the Meatpacking District was kind of, I don't want to say on its way out, but it was declining for sure.
I remember one night I was off and with a bunch of my friends, and we came to Troy while you were DJing, and it was like sausage fest, like not sausage fest with a lot of guys, like sardines in there.
Yeah,
it was hot and sweaty, and it was like one moment that I can remember being one of the more fun nights that I had out, not working, because it was just a vibe. Like, it was just a good time.
That's probably one of my I have it in my Serato. It's one of my best DJ sets I've ever played, period. So yeah, that was a time. Every time you played in that place, it was fun.
I feel like these days the only way to create this sort of magic is really if you like start your own party, right? And you're playing the stuff that you love, and your friends are coming and supporting you, and your DJ friends are coming and playing your party. I think like in 2024, that's sort of the only way to kind of get that magic. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm just old and been in the game too long and sort of jaded on being able to recreate that at a venue. I don't know.
It's funny you're talking about this, because I was thinking about this on my run yesterday, and I was like, oh, is it ever going to be like that again, where I'm going to look forward to going to see, I was thinking of some random JP party that I went to that like was different and weird and out of the box, but it wound up being a really good night. I think it's just the fact that this is what we do for a living at this point, right? Like every day, all day. And to be impressed anymore, it's very difficult for us.
Well, I don't even mean as a customer. I just mean as like a DJ.
That's what I'm saying. To be impressed as a DJ anymore, it's very difficult, you know? But there are we do have some parties that go on that have this potential, you know, and I'm thinking of one venue in particular that like you can go off the rails in any which direction of music and things could get special real quick.
Yeah.
But it's not consistent. Consistency is a little tougher these days.
Yeah. I'm talking like every time you're there. And I guess, you know, I think also some of that magic had to be because I was there every week, right? It wasn't, it was a weekly residency, and it was an off night on a Thursday where like a lot of DJs were coming out. So not only were you DJing for people that came, your regulars, like your fans that came out every week, you're also like putting on a show for DJs that get to see this cool party you created and like come and be a part of it. Sometimes like throw out a little mini set. It was just like a vibe. And
I think knowing your crowd, and you knew your crowd in and out from the minute, from whatever it was, 10 p.m. till 2 a.m., you knew what to play every minute and what you could get away with or what you couldn't get away with. And it's such a big portion of having a residency and then building a party around your residency.
Yeah. That was turntables too, man.
That was turntables.
DJs used to be like, yo, I can't believe you play turntables in here. I'm like, yeah, this is the last place standing that I played turntables, really.
We had a great run at a place in Morristown. It was just a bar, Sona 13. We talk about it all the time. You and Dramos talked about it the other night, and we knew the formula of that place left in, you know, from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. You know, and we could still recite to you that formula. And that was also always a great party. But that was the heyday of EDM. And in this random bar in Morristown, we can play an hour's worth of Swedish House Mafia, Avicii, and Deadmau5. And it's like, this doesn't really make sense in this venue, but it was just a moment in time, right? Where it'll happen again, where like something takes over. It's country music right now.
Yeah, country's crushing. I think part of those magic moments, it seems like the staff and the venue and the managers and the owners were also all in on those venues, you know? Like it sort of felt like you were going to hang out with your friends in those places, right? Like Troy, we were really close friends with the GM and the booker, and we started to get to know some of the bartenders. At Tally Ho, like I went to one of the bartenders' weddings, like,
yeah.
So it was like a family vibe, and I think they were excited to be there. They were making money. I was excited to be there. The owner was excited because they were making money as a business. So like, it's like those perfect storms that are just really hard to recreate, especially right now.
I'm gonna shout out. This might shock you a little bit. I'm going to shout out Fat Taco. I was just talking to one of our DJs who's a regular DJ in there and says, like, I'm friends with the bartenders. We hang out outside of work. We have a friendship. And they're all in on their party. And they've built a really nice party in there which was really like there wasn't much happening in the first couple of years that they were open. And now they're establishing a line around the block. And they, you know, and the DJs, you're doing a great job of putting having regular DJs in there, which helps build something special. You know, whether they get to that next level, you know, that's those people that are involved only kind of know, you know what I mean? Like,
well, they're getting a sound upgrade over there, so that we've been trying to get some new sound in there for 8 months probably, and like that's gonna, I think, drastically help the situation as far as progressing that party forward. So
shout out to those guys that are building that little community in there, because I think that's what it's gonna take. And it's, gosh, those small rooms are just so fun to do it in. You know?
All right, cool. I think this is a good place to wrap. I want to invite everybody listening to our Discord. So it's the Grow My DJ Business Discord. We're creating a little community over there of people that listen to this podcast, people that come to our shows, anybody that's really kind of consuming any of our content. You know, we're creating this really cool community and sharing music and putting up some coaching videos. There's a lot of cool stuff going on over there. I think it's a great way to sort of get involved with anything that we do. We promote a lot of our music and parties and anything cool that we're doing there. We have a course going up in there, and we're posting videos and exclusive cream edits and all kinds of cool stuff. So if you want to join the Discord, we will put the link to join in the show notes. You can find that link also on any of our socials, Get Down DJ Group, or the Grow My DJ Business podcast. And we just appreciate you guys for listening. Thanks for hanging out with us today.
All right, guys.
Talk to you guys soon. Thanks for listening to this episode. Peace.
Peace.